Nice to meet you. Marcus, and we're with that nerd show. We've kind of moved down, so we got a little more space.
Oh, gotcha.
Our sign is down there somewhere.
Gotcha. So this isn't a nerdy thing, but my only nerd credit is I co-created this show called Honest Trailers that people seem to like. That's like a big YouTube show.
Interesting. All right.
Draw attention to that.
If we don't know about it, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
We can talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So you're the director of a film, Verbatim, The Ferguson Case.
Yes.
And this is a very intriguing title. So point blank, what's this story about?
So what I did was I took the grand jury transcripts from the Michael Brown shooting in Ferguson, Missouri, and I chose selections from them, and I had actors act out the transcripts as if you're kind of in the jury room with them. So it's the witness that was with Michael Brown at the time of the shooting and the police officer, and I juxtaposed their different narratives of what happened at that time, and all the dialogue is verbatim what was actually said in that room.
Because this is kind of a more objective look, just taking what was actually said and...
Yeah, I like to call it less subjective rather than more objective, because you can't make an objective film. It's not possible.
That's interesting. That's a good point.
But it's like a less subjective thing to try to get in there and connect people with the primary source documents in hopefully a dramatic, compelling way.
Now I'm curious about the casting that would go on with something like this. Was there sort of an effort to change things up with the actors, or sort of make them similar to the people who are the real people?
I definitely tried to make them similar to the real people. I got a phenomenal cast that I was really excited about. Brian Garrity, who's an actor who's been on Boardwalk Empire and was in Flight and Hurt Locker. Uzo Aduba, who's on Orange is the New Black, plays the prosecutor, and this guy Keith Stanfield plays one of the witnesses, and he played Snoop Dogg in Straight Outta Compton, and he's been in this movie Short Term 12, which is amazing. And so I got really lucky, and then we made an effort to sort of match them closer to what their counterparts looked like. And even the grand jury, I matched the gender and race of the grand jury members.
Now, there's obviously research that goes in when you're creating a film, especially when it's based on something that really happened.
Yeah.
What were some interesting findings you had in the experience of sort of piecing this all together? Some things you learned that you didn't know about before?
I think the whole thing's really interesting. I read about 5,000 pages of the grand jury transcripts, which I then culled down into kind of the 16-minute short film. So there's just a plethora of information that is really interesting, and the logistics of how the grand jury is told all these things is interesting too. And then we did additional research into sort of like what did the room look like and what's going on in that room. It was kind of an insight into how grand juries work, which is different process than most legal processes.
Now, we've been talking with some of these other filmmakers about short film, and I find the subject of short film very intriguing, because it's such a different set of challenges that goes in with that as compared to doing a full-length film. So, do you find there's a sort of an extra intensity that goes on with having to condense it down even further?
Totally.
Material you had?
Totally. And it's like, there's not a lot of room for error, right? Because you have just between like 5 and 20 minutes or whatever to tell your story. Where in a movie, you can have a scene that like sort of works or is cool or whatever, but this is just, you got to really focus in and hone in.
We actually have one final question.
Yeah.
This is where you're going to earn your nerd credits.
Okay.
Since we are that nerd show, there's something we're asking everybody on the red carpet. If you could be involved in either one, would you pick Star Trek or Star Wars?
I'm a Star Wars guy all the way. That's my thing. You're getting a lot of Star Wars things.
We're not influencing at all in any way.
Yeah. No, I totally am, and that's the thing.
That would be a mind meld with Star Trek.
Can I go back on that? I would actually be involved in Star Trek, because I love Star Wars so much. I don't want to do anything with it, because then it would be sullied by who am I to do anything with Star Wars? But Star Trek, there's probably some interesting things, and I wouldn't care as much, and so I'd be like, I could take this to an interesting place. Where Star Wars, I'm like, just let J.J. Abrams do it. It's fantastic. I'm into that.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
I appreciate it.
Yes.